What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Fatherhood Village podcast, the official home for proud fathers and mentors. I'm Deo, hosting the show with Kev Hick, and we are here to give our fatherly thoughts and opinions on subjects that may directly or indirectly affect fathers and mentors like yourself. All right, so today we're going to open a conversation about the Carlee Russell story. All right, we'll get more into that. We'll dissect that, give you our thoughts and opinions, of course, as we always do. But before that, y'all know who with me, man. Kev Hick, what's going on with you, baby? How you doing?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. Moving and grooving. How you doing?
I feel it. Hey, same, man. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we was on here last, so it feels good. It feels good. It's has it been like a year
We,
almost?
we might have kicked one in like 7 months ago, but it's been a minute though. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a
it's
minute.
been a long time. It's been a long time, man. But of course, we opening the episodes back up once again, rolling things out with the Carlee Russell story that's been going nationwide. And I'm sure a lot of people have their perceptions of it, their own opinions, their feelings, one way or the other. And I don't know, man. A lot of people want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it's really not much to give her. We can feel sorry, we can feel remorseful for her, but it's like, man. But let's start from the top. I want to say it was what was it? Tuesday of last week. It was like the 13th of July. Um, when I started seeing things on Twitter. Um, and obviously anybody's first impression anytime we see anything like that go up, we behind it 100%. No one, you know, generally doesn't falsify these type of things. It's not a hoax. Is we take it serious. So I applauded the way a lot of the community members mobilized around this. It caught obviously national, state, and then or the national level, of course, from the local level. So I was impressed that it caught fire like that. But it was at the same time it's kind of interesting because it's a lot more other people that's missing, a lot of other missing person reports that happen every day. And I thought it was kind of peculiar that just one name was headlining everything. But nonetheless, I was like, okay, it's got some movement. I hope she comes home safely. What was your first initial impression, Kev, when it first got to you, or was it kind of already looking weird by the time it got to you? Let me know.
Nah, to be honest, man, I was triggered. We in Ohio, where we at Southern Western Ohio, this is one of the sex trafficking hubs of the country. So it's always a
Hmm.
concern for me, these things happening. And there, in the Cincinnati area, the Dayton area, there's a rash of these things from time to time, to such a degree that I have my wife carrying the pistol, putting my boys on the bus.
Mm.
So for me, I was triggered. And, I was pretty much for that couple of days where we didn't know what was going on, deaf to all the kidnapping sex traffickers.
Right.
If a woman want to put herself on the track and get the sack like that, then that's what's up. If she wants to gainful employment through her sexuality, that's what's up. But if a
Mhm.
man is any group or syndicate of people is kidnapping these young people and creating slaves and injecting them with drugs and doing the way they do it when they taking people, yeah, I think all of them need to drop dead. So for
Mhm.
me, as a father, and as a family member of the women that are could also be in danger, and just as a person who served women, as a guy who's coached 4,000 women and have known women to be trafficked, have known women to be kidnapped, have known women to be just all of the things that happen to women at the hands of men and people trying to make money and profit off of them, especially their bodies.
Yeah.
um, Outside of the volunteer prostitute, man, everybody forcing that on somebody else, everybody kidnapping and robbing and taking from a woman like that, they need to die.
Mhm.
And So now I was triggered. I was on point, and I was ready to go to war like everybody else was ready. Just because we know it could be any of our family members, any of our sisters, any of our mothers, any of our aunts, any of our friends. So now I was triggered.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 days passed. I'm not sure how many other folks got the details early on. Most people kind of saw with threads on Twitter and other social media sites how there was a child who she saw on the side of the road. She pulled over to assist, to help, to kind of render aid. She made the phone call to 911. Police was dispatched, and then next thing we heard, there was her belongings left in the vehicle that she had abandoned or was abducted from. Um, and then boom, there was, kind of where the search and things started. Did you hear, Kev? Did you hear the 911 call?
No, I didn't. I didn't hear
Did
the
you?
911 call. I was so triggered,
Okay.
man. Once I get the news, I try not to dig into it as much because it puts me in a weird place about that type of stuff. So I got the story, and I was just waiting on the update. We either found her, we didn't find her. I didn't torture myself with the details of when she was missing because it just wouldn't have done nothing for me. It would have me looking crazy at everybody at the grocery store.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. So I do, for our viewers and for you, if you wanted to listen to it,
It's
I
all
got it
good.
pulled up. I
Yeah,
got
you're
it
not allowed
pulled
to
up.
play it. We know it's good now,
Uh
so we can play it.
yeah, yeah. Let's pull this clip up real fast. Let me see how we're gonna do this here. Boom. All right. Hopefully the viewers can see and hear.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on, hold on. Where on 459 are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Hoover Met, like to get off by the Hoover Met.
Okay, so you're before that exit?
Yes.
Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Like toward Tuscaloosa or toward 280?
Towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay, and was the child on the left or right side?
On the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound, or how old did they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah, okay. Sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz.
Is that a sedan or SUV?
SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry.
Can you put your hazards on for me?
Yeah, they're on.
Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay. Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
White male? Okay. Is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white T-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see any cars anywhere?
No cars are anywhere.
Okay. All right. What's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell.
And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct?
No, but I can't really see them that good.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right. And do they have shoes on?
No.
Shoes?
Not that I can see. I can't really see that well.
Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, so that was The first call
Hmm.
from Carlee Russell, and then her mom made another call because apparently Carlee made another call to a relative, and that's when the kidnapping allegedly took place. She was screaming as it was happening, but it was a lot of holes, and what was going on. And like I said, no one wants to think that it was made up, right? That's like the last thing in our minds. No one wants to even consider that. But once the facts were presented, and things weren't cooperating as far as just the timeline and the sequence of events, it was just like it was just hard to make the connections. What have you heard so far? Because one glaring fact was, with all the surveillance and all the tracking mechanisms and things like that that were used, they found that she traveled in her vehicle during that 911 call for 600 yards. And, the police chief was just saying, like, what toddler, stays on a one track narrow path for 600 yards without veering into traffic, without kind of stopping or going any other direction? That was kind of like, right. What other things did you find out about Kev that maybe caused you to kind of think twice about your initial reaction?
I kind of quarantined myself from it, man. Outside of the initial details from that 911 call, right? I got the details, but I didn't hear the call because I didn't know how frantic it would be. I was like, I'm gonna leave that alone. But those are the basic details I had, and just my knowledge of the sex traffic industry, especially in southern Western Ohio, it being a hub. All of this stuff felt, valid to me at the time. Um, I just heard that her phone was in the car. Her car appeared to still be on. Like it was like she had just got taken from the car. And so all of her stuff was kind of in motion, on, left in a way that somebody got snatched in a hurry would be left, right? Uh,
Right.
Door cracked open, that type of, that's the scene that I envisioned. But
Women love a guy.
that's the extent of the information that I had was, she basically vanished and her phone and everything was left in the car, and her and the kid was gone. So now I'm thinking that the kid was a pawn, or some kind of
Right.
trick, a gang initiation, or again, sex trafficking is, they got a bunch of toddlers in the sex
Yes.
trafficking rings because they're getting women pregnant, so it's easy enough to do. But that was the extent of my information.
Yeah. And I was trying to follow it not super closely, but when it was on my timeline, I would read what other details were available of the ongoing story. And like 2 days later, I believe she appeared back at her residence, right, safe and sound. But before that, when police arrived on the scene, responding to that 911 call that her mother made, I'm not sure if it was simultaneous. They were already sending police out there. I want to say it was within 5 minutes of her mother's phone call that she made. They obviously, like you said, they found things in her vehicle. Her phone being one of those few things that they found left behind, and I'm gonna touch on that in a sec. But they later found out with all kind of surveillance footage was used to gain all these facts, right? So based on the timestamps, she was at Target. That was one of the spots she left from to get snacks and other things that were found in the vehicle. They also said that things were taken from her place of employment. She worked at a spa, and she took apparently a black bathrobe and toilet paper. Right. Um, And then apparently I'm gonna play this other clip, right? I don't even wanna, it's something else. Let's get back on that police chief in Alabama here. Hold on. Let me get the
Detectives continue analyzing data from Carlee's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to their disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carlee's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carlee's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carlee a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carlee can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carlee's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so there you have it, right? So just let's just cut to the chase, right? A lot of this wasn't true. It just doesn't appear to all line up. I mean, it's sad to realize that, right? But I'm trying to obviously unpack this a little further. Like, what's really going on with our sister, man? What is the motive behind this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a lack of love for herself? Does she feel that she's not getting the love and attention? Like, what, Kev, because you speak with a lot of women, with your dating consultation and stuff like that, what are some things that speak to you, like that, of people's personality and some of the trauma they go through? What are some things that are indicative of this type of behavior?
So more in lines of the portion of my job that is mental health related. I've taken part in a few calls that led to somebody not killing themselves. The suicide prevention portion that pops up every now and then for me, that, while it's heavy, I'm proud to have been a part of, the preservation of life from the times I've been a part of that. When I heard him say, out of respect for, we found some things that indicate her mind state, but out of respect for her, we'll leave those out of this press conference at the moment. That told me that she probably, the likelihood of searching about self-harm and potentially suicide was higher, because those are mental health related, and there are HIPAA laws in relationship to if you can divulge something about somebody's psychological or medical health. Now, I can say that in speculation, just out of sharing my opinion, the likelihood that they had found something in relationship to suicide is probably high, which would have been in bad taste to share with the world, which is why they couldn't have shared it, especially medical or, again, mental health related, because it was likely mental health indicators there, mental health issue indicators. I don't have anger in my heart for this young woman. I don't have any. I'm not even really disappointed as much as, like, to your point, of concern. What's going on with the sister? What is she going through? And can she be helped? Is she beyond help? Is she even seeking help outside of the moment? Right. It would
Mm-hmm.
seem to me that, like we hear when mass murderers and gentlemen who do despicable things to a large amounts of people, they're trying to become infamous. They want to be known for the way they died. The infamy is a part of the attraction to people who struggle with mental health issues from time to time and who do dastardly things. The infamy of the Amber Alert, the story, the build up, the backstory she gave, like, she wanted to get the attention of the world. She needed to be seen. She needed to feel valued. She wanted to watch the funeral take place, right? Like, some people want to be
Mm-hmm.
there to watch their funeral. They want to see people care because they don't feel like people care.
Right.
They don't know how to receive love or identify it. And so they look for opportunities to create that sensation in themselves sometimes. And I think that she's probably struggling with, again, mortality issues. She's probably struggling with self-love issues. The likelihood is that she's uh, probably considers some self-harm, and she's seeking out attention. And this was a way to get attention without going through with it. So as much as this might sound weird, I'm so much more relieved that this is the methodology she took and she chose, instead of
Yeah.
actually her harming herself or eliminating herself. So
Mm.
while we can look at this and say, man, this is dastardly, this is bullshit, this is crazy, the young woman did something other than slit her wrist or shoot herself, or because this is what people do when they're that deep into the mental health hole.
Yeah.
um and so she did something else. Yes, it was as dumb as anything we've heard. Yes, it was senseless. Yes, it was, but they're not thinking about sense. Like, they really are focused. You get tunnel vision when you're in that deep of a place, mentally, emotionally. Hell, if you're just broke, you can get in such a rut that you don't even see things clearly, just being broke
Mm.
and not even having those types of issues. Just outside of this type of thing, think about where you are when you're struggling mentally, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. It pulls away from you the sense that brought you to whatever place that was protective. So
Mm.
for her, as weird as it is, I'm glad that this is what she did and she didn't harm herself. um I'm also relieved that we do have people that still care about our community, that so many of our activists showed up and showed out.
Mm-hmm.
I treat it, or I think of it, like a fire drill for our community, and we need to
Yeah.
start caring about this stuff. And unfortunately for her, she'll bear this shame for her lifetime. But we have created some avenues and some activism, um, we created some SOPs, so to speak, for
Yeah.
how to handle this and how to get the word out and how to save one of our brothers or sisters who actually does encounter real abduction.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a good thing in my mind, despite it being such a negative.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And sometimes a lot of people are quick and rush to judgment or look at the surface level of it, right? The
Mhm.
irresponsibility of it, um, and how these tax dollars went to this use that was kind of in vain. They look at things that aren't aligned with real human, you know, ideologies, you know what I'm saying? And ideations, especially when it comes to self-harm. So some people don't allow themselves to understand that that stuff is real.
Mhm.
And like you said, it could have ended a different way.
Yeah.
Right. And some people were saying, which I don't really agree with, how law enforcement's their perception may change depending on who's calling in missing or Amber. I think that's bogus. I
Mm.
think most police departments are handling things professionally, and like you said, SOPs like this, these are things that they're going to follow to the
Mhm.
T every time, right? Until
Yeah.
it's proved otherwise. they're going to do their due diligence and try to seek justice. So I think this is an anomaly. I don't think this is something that we need to take to the bank. Like, yeah, we're waiting for the next time someone calls to scrutinize it or think
Yeah.
twice. Or I think that's far from the truth. But like you said, to your point, it was great how we mobilized and funneled the information quickly, got it out there, got the details as soon as they were available. People were looking for it. I mean, they were assigning like small community groups, search parties, things like that. I mean, they were searching head to toe throughout that area.
A lot of that infrastructure will stand even after this. A lot of those people have made connections, built networks, and when
Yes,
somebody
sir.
really does come up missing, there's again standard operating procedures in place in some form or fashion that could lead to a recovery. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good thing regardless. I think
Yeah.
one of the things that bothered me the most about this thing before we even had the details, there were people making these points about it being bullshit and these people you know these women specifically lying, and there were people who had a skepticism that was rooted in disdain for women. And there was
Yeah.
this narrative that, oh, see, that's why we don't believe women. And that's no justification for not believing kidnapping. I don't think SA issues and kidnapping issues live on the same plane.
Mhm.
And I also don't think that one woman's fallacy and lie constitutes the disbelief of anyone else who comes up missing. That doesn't make any sense. The likelihood that a woman is kidnapping herself or pretending to be kidnapped
Very
versus a
rare.
person really being kidnapped, especially with all the sex trafficking going on, it's very
Mhm.
rare. It's more
Exactly.
rare. It's more rare than the SA cases that don't pan out, right? It's more rare than a woman regretting sexual acts with a guy and then saying it was less consensual than it might have been at the time, right? Or being
Mhm.
coerced or being intimidated, but not sharing that with the gentleman. Those things happen, but that doesn't make them the norm, even when those happen, right? In the case of SAs thing happening. So when you start talking
Mhm.
about kidnappings, how many false kidnappings happen? Like that's even
Yeah.
more rare than the false SA thing.
Yeah.
Um, and most of even the arguable cases of SA involve celebrities. When you're talking about regular people,
Mm.
it happens. It be happening.
Yeah.
So you talking about celebrities, sometimes it's a little different. 59 people come out. Ain't nobody got time to do that to 59 motherfuckers. But so like that's that I can
Yeah.
understand the skepticism. All of y'all was too scared of somebody who's 5'3" that wears heels in
Mhm.
his videos. Okay, cool, got it. I understand healthy skepticism, but this idea that we shouldn't believe anyone or we just discredit any woman that says anything that might be a victim of some man somewhere just because she's a woman and people have lied before is ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
And I just think that was disappointing watching the male, the manosphere start creating, lies and narratives before this woman was even found. Also, the idea that these young women all deserve to be ignored because of these random lies that happen from very isolated incidences was pretty disgusting. So I was both very impressed by our community and also a little bit saddened by the lack of morality and the lack of empathy that some of us have because we're so deep and intertwined with this man versus woman, male supremacy. There's pretty much this damn Willie Lynch syndrome that we have with the self-hatred. We watch a lot of these guys stand up and open their mouth and fix their mouth to say some dumb shit about black women in general just because one woman had a mental health crisis. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Um, and a lot of people are gonna look at it a lot of different ways, and like you said, the whole Me Too thing, the sexual assault thing. I think obviously facts should always weigh in.
Right.
Of course, we're going to hear the person out. People have their way the story went that. But obviously facts are gonna kind of determine what really happened. And
Mhm.
obviously these women need their space and respect, the treatment, the help, all these things. Because men lie, women lie, right?
Right. Humans
But
are
facts are
flawed.
facts.
Mhm.
Exactly. Um, but I think obviously everyone uh is should be given their due process, right?
Mhm.
Whether we think we speculate one way or the other, that's neither here or there. But and obviously having a daughter, getting back to another point, no one obviously wants their daughter to feel that this is something that she needs to right perform or try or
Right.
gain success with. Like, what does this validate, right? And I'm trying to obviously as a father with a daughter, I'm trying to make sure I'm checking these boxes as much as I can. How am I showing the love I give to my daughter? How is she receiving it? Like you pointed out. Because everyone has their love languages, right? And how I feel she should be receptive to how I show my love doesn't mean that she's going to take it the same way. I might be
Right.
overlooking something. The communication isn't quite there. Who knows? And I'm not sure if I doubt the parents were complicit with all this. I don't want to even think along those lines. But I think it'd be an interesting conversation to have with the parent, you know, just about how she either grew up or like, did you notice things changing? What was like, did she have siblings? Like, I'm interested to kind of see what her childhood was like and just her upbringing and just, I'm sure she's going to have a lot of interviews, right? We're going to get to know this person a lot more. But it's a lot of girls and young women and ladies out here that go through the same things, right? And some probably
Mhm.
were saying, "Hey, I thought about something like that." This isn't the first time. I think there were some other instances that something similar happened.
Mhm.
I was watching something and it was another case. I forget the lady's name. I think it was a white lady, but yeah, black, white, don't matter the race. A lot of people think along these lines. And like you said, just to see if people will come to their aid, like how
Mhm.
much will people miss her? Will people,
Mhm.
they say that, hey, we'll do anything for you, but then like, how would you know if you're not here? You know what I'm saying? So maybe she was trying to like do a fact check on, the
Mhm.
community or family. Who knows?
If she would be
Um,
missed, right?
yeah,
When
like you
people,
said, just attending your own funeral in a way.
yeah, and then just trying to figure out if that's okay. Should I do it? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I missed. All right, I can go in peace. Like that,
Mhm.
people really be on that. Like, so
Mhm.
it's one of those things. I think it does something for our community that it set a precedent that we respond this way. And my hope is that we treat it like a fire drill and that we still come running when people yell fire.
Mhm.
Right. And as long as we
Yeah.
can do that, muster up enough empathy to put whatever biases we have down and do what needs to be done for the next person that disappears, despite it. I don't care if I'm wrong. Like, I'm not ashamed to have cared about this situation. And I
Yeah.
think that's people are so bent on not being wrong, not being bamboozled, not feeling dumb, not looking dumb, especially the optics of looking stupid. Because you
Mhm.
start a bunch of internet arguments and then you're wrong. Now you look stupid. I don't care about looking stupid, bro. If somebody does disappear and it is their last day on this earth because we like, remember the last girl, forget that.
Yeah.
Now they in the
Like
basement tied up.
exactly.
So I don't care if I look
Exactly.
stupid. I'm gonna be I'm gonna look dumb as fuck every single time, and I'm gonna always give a damn about something like that. And I still believe death to all the kidnapping ass sexual traffickers. If your woman want to put herself on a strip, then yeah, sponsor the young woman, provide management if that's what y'all into. I ain't got no hate on
Mhm.
that. But when you talking about taking these young women, stealing them from grocery stores and shit like that, tracking them, putting things and symbols on their cars and then tracking them down and going in their house and kidnapping them. And when you talk about that, y'all need to drop dead. And like I
Yeah,
said, I stand on that. So you know,
absolutely. Yeah. Nah, I don't think any decent person will automatically revert back to this story. Like, last time I did that. No, that was the
mhm,
one time, right?
right.
I mean, I see missing person stuff all the time, Amber Alerts, especially when I'm in Texas, on my phone all the time. I mean, it's so often that these things happen, unfortunately. And the one story that's supposedly false gets, national headline news, right? Don't blow it out of proportion in the sense that should be your first reaction to them. Nah, let's do the right thing, right? Until it's proven otherwise, right? Just
That's
practice
it.
being a great Samaritan, doing what's best in the interest of whoever's in need. So
And if it is if they are lying, you realize the mental health state that a person has to be in to lie about some shit like that. You still need to save them from killing themselves at the very least. This not
that's what
this
I'm
bro. This
that's
is
what
a
I'm saying. Yeah.
crisis of mental health. This is a mental health crisis the person is going through. So no,
Mhm.
it's as important whether somebody kidnap her or whether she trying to figure out if people will miss her before she go in the cave and do something to herself. I don't give a
Mhm.
damn. We need to be on top of that. And so even if a person is lying, who knows somebody crazy enough to lie about some shit like that that's not doing bad mentally?
Yeah.
We need to get off this high horse thing, man, and start realizing that we need each other to survive. Start moving like that, and I was
Mhm.
very proud of the movement, but
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit saddened that people haven't considered how bad it has to be for somebody for them to do something like this, where their
Yeah.
mind has to be. It's a cry for help, but it was also probably a really close call. I'm sure she's gotten much closer to doing the other thing uh, than we would like to believe.
And what's also important is how we handle the situation thereafter, right?
Oh
After the
yeah,
smoke clears, after things settle, because she could be looking to still do this if we
right,
treat this and handle this incorrectly and wrong
right,
and chastise her and belittle her because of this situation, right?
right.
Not handle it maturely, and then next thing you know, oh, that Carlee Russell,
N-
yeah, she took her life.
Yeah,
What?
now
Yeah,
she's been
y'all.
bullied into it.
Right. So, if I think if people have ill things to say, which I'm sure they're gonna have thoughts of and their own opinions, keep that on off public. I mean, I'm always about using your outlets and public, you know, domains responsibly, right? So of course you may not sign off on what she did and this, that, and the third. Like there's no reason to go on social media and just, you know, talk ill of her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just say, hey, I don't think that was cool. And be okay, fine. We get your point. Like this, don't go beyond that because obviously she used social media to leverage what she was going through, but she's gonna be looking, she's gonna see her hashtag name and want to see what people have been talking about because that's what she was interested in, to seeing the reaction and just how people were gonna um gravitate to helping her. So just watch out for that, and kind of I would suggest and hope people kind of check these folks. There's no reason to run wild with that. You know what I'm saying? So they
Hmm.
say, hey, yeah, that was a bad look. Let's just look after our sister, and anyone that's remotely going through something like this. What are the signs? Like that's why I'm interested to know more about her because
Yeah,
there's some similarities with other people.
right.
I'm sure.
The
So
the interaction she's had at work, the interaction she's had around her family, the things leading up to this, maybe some issues she's having in personally.
mhm,
Last boyfriend, last breakup, last guy she dated. Not that anybody's is this fault but hers, but also but still that these are things that contributed to her being in that position. And again, warning signs, learning about those so we can apply them to our own personal life. So most people's not going to fake kidnap themselves. Most people going to go hurt themselves.
yeah,
And so we need to be looking for the warning signs. We need to be on top of our suicide prevention. We need to be on top of our mental health alerts and red flags. And we need to just have our empathy on 10 at all times, because you never know what somebody's
Mm-hmm.
going through and what they might do to alleviate that pain in themselves. She basically
Right.
catfished the world, but she could have did something worse. So I'm gonna go on and take the win with this catfish, with this
Yes,
cat
sir.
kidnapping. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, yeah, always big picture. Always big picture. I appreciate you having this discussion with me, Kev. Viewers, if you want to chime in, feel free to do so in the comment box, in the comment section below. Support the channel. Support the channel. If you go to our link tree, we have a merch site. Take a look. I just dropped some new gear, some new things that put fatherhood first and the responsible and active fatherhood identity up there. So run with our message if you feel strongly about it. Like, share our content, do all that. We're trying to blow it up. Hey, life kind of got in the way of us continuing this marathon, but we gonna keep pulling it along and we want to grow this into something that everybody can get behind, and we're impacting more of our peers, young fathers, older fathers, just men in general that really need to hear where we come from. And obviously we want to have more guests on the show, because we don't have all the answers. We haven't experienced everything, and we want to pull all that onto our channel, just so people can, tap in and kind of hear almost anything. Right. So, again, appreciate y'all support. Follow us. We're on just about all the social media. Get at us on all streaming platforms. We're there. All right. And hopefully next week we'll have another episode coming right for you. All right. So subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we out. One love.
Love.